Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm home from traveling. As I'm sure some of you guys know, over the last couple weeks I was traveling, so being home means that I have a very cool video to show you. While I was in London, I decided to film a thrift with me video. I filmed this one a little bit differently. I wanted this to be the kind of video that anyone could come to, and specifically like if they're, if they're traveling into London, or if they're just getting into thrifting and maybe they live around the area. Just a video that I could have watched knowing that I was going to thrift in London. So if you're traveling into London and you want to know the better places to shop, because I know that when you're traveling you don't really have all the time in the world, there are obviously so many places that I did not get the chance to check out. We just didn't have the time to go and see, so this isn't the be-all end-all. There are a ton more vintage places, but I do hope that this helps you on your search. If you're just here to watch and here for the view, that's great too. So let's just hop right into this. I just have my laptop down here. I'm going to talk you guys through each one that we went to and sort of my thoughts on each place. So the first place that I went to is called Rokit Vintage. I think it was one of the top on Google, and what I'm going to pretty much show you guys today is sort of the top places that were recommended either by people on Instagram or by Google itself. So Rokit Vintage is quite a big place. It did take me quite a while to get through it. It's a little bit more eclectic than I'm used to. That was really cool because I got to see a lot of things that I haven't seen before. Sometimes when you're thrifting, I find that you tend to see the same things over and over again, or you're not really overly thrilled by any new kind of pieces. But that was not the case at Rokit Vintage at all. There were so much stuff. Although it was curated, I think it's curated to a lot of people's different tastes, so it's definitely worth checking out. I did see like a couple cute things, but I didn't really end up getting any of the clothing or anything like that. Something that I thought was really cool is they had all these plaid shirts that were turned into like dresses and crop tops. Maybe they weren't selling or something like that, but I thought that was like a cool kind of neat thing. This bag I absolutely loved and I really wanted to get it. Something that deterred me from actually purchasing it was the fact that these flaps were real leather, so that's why I didn't get that. This bag kind of reminds me of that other bag that I have. I liked that purse as well. Again, it was leather, so I didn't get it. Just really don't want to be purchasing real leather. But yeah, this is overall a really good place to stop, and I would recommend that you check them out. Next up, we have Pop Boutique Vintage Clothing. This was a lot smaller, especially in comparison to Rokit Vintage. This was the second place I went to. I found these amazing Carhartt overalls. They were in my size. They're exactly the same ones that I have. These Guess overalls, which I kind of regret not getting. So the store was like full of a lot of stuff. I think it was a little bit more my style. It was more kind of on the 70s spectrum, so I kind of appreciated that, of course. There is something that I need to mention, and a lot of you guys were saying you're really excited for my thrift haul and to see all of the stuff that I got. But I only got one thing. So while I was thrifting in London, yeah, I only got one thing, which is a bit sad. I really liked this denim, like white denim Guess jacket, but it was too big. But so this is something that you need to be aware of. The exchange rate. Our dollar is not on par with Britain's dollar, so that's why I didn't get a lot of things. You might see a lot of things that you're like, oh, Tasha would definitely buy that, or oh, I really love that, but I really had to consider the price. So if something was £30, it's not exactly this, but it's almost double in price. So if something was £30, it would almost be like $55, something like that. Would I pay that at home? So throughout this video, you're gonna see that purse, for instance, I really liked, or a belt or something like that, and then you'll say, oh, Tasha, why didn't you? And it was because of the exchange rate. I could really only commit to things that were under, you know, 10 pounds. But you definitely have to check the exchange rate because you might think you're getting a good deal, but you're really not. If any of you guys from England would like to come over to Canada and thrift, y'all would get a deal. So the last place, yeah, I'd recommend checking them out. They're a cute little store, especially if you're in the area. It's like Covent Garden area, which is, you know, you'll probably end up there if you're traveling. So yeah, I would go for sure. The next place is called Wow Retro, and this place was a little bit more thrift shoppy than the other places. It's a little bit less curated. I did have to kind of like scroll through a bunch of stuff that was just kind of like not good. But you know, it's the hunt. I appreciate a hunt, so I'm not complaining. The prices were a little bit better at this one as well. I found a couple cool pieces. I did appreciate that they had this section of dresses that was like marked out by like the era, 60s, 70s, 80s. I found this McBusted tour shirt, which was pretty cool, but I didn't buy it. They had a lot of like cool stuff, a lot of retro stuff, but like I said, I really had to, more so than the other ones, really thrift through not good stuff. So if you want a little bit of more of a hunt, I would go there. That's really all I have to say about that one. Would I go back? No. I didn't think it was overly that great. If you're in the area, it's very close to that last one, Pop Boutique, then yeah, okay, go. But I mean, other than that, nah. Next up is one of my favorites. If you're gonna go to anyone, it should be called Beyond Retro. I absolutely love this sign coming in. You guys probably saw this on my Instagram, this vintage clothing sign. But this place was really, really big, and they had so much stuff. Now, I want to say so much stuff that I liked. So there's a difference between being such a full vintage thrift shop and having quality. So you can have a lot of stuff, but it might not be quality. This place, you'll see like so many cool pieces, so many cool dresses that I absolutely loved. Definitely worth checking out because, yeah, again, there was a lot of stuff I wanted to get, but I ended up trying stuff on. The things that I liked didn't fit, but there were a lot of good things, you know, and I was willing to get something that was a little bit more expensive if I loved it, but, you know, it just didn't end up fitting or stuff like that. Of course, I'm going to list all of these down below. The last one, go to. Out of all of them, that was my favorite one, and I think a lot of people could find a lot of good stuff there. That was definitely my favorite of the bunch. Next up, I went to a place called Absolute Vintage. And this store, I don't know. As soon as I walked in and like 3 employees were standing there and no one greeted me. It felt a little weird from the get-go. There's a couple cute pieces, but it's not a very memorable store for me. I got yelled at for filming after I got a ton of footage, which is, I mean, to each their own. Some people just don't want their store, but that's fine. There wasn't like anything in the store that I was like, oh, that looks great. And it was a bit far out. The reason we came to this one was because there was another one close to it. This wasn't, I don't know, wasn't very memorable, and I didn't have a great experience. So the last store I'm going to show you is called ATIKA. I think it used to be called Blitz from what I kind of grasped from online. And this store looked really, really cool on Instagram, so I was really excited to go to it. However, getting there, it was almost kind of too curated. It had that very, you know how Urban Outfitters, sometimes they have like Levi's jeans and stuff that are vintage. Like, it felt extremely curated. I don't know if some of the stuff was new, I'm not really sure, but it was too curated. I don't think I saw one thing in this store that I was like, yeah, I'd consider buying that. And that's the problem with too curated of shops. Obviously there's probably people that absolutely love this store because it's their style, but just, you know, just speaking from how I feel, I just thought that one this big maybe wouldn't be like that. I have to say, as much as I love vintage shopping is something that you find stores that maybe are curated to your style and then you enjoy shopping at them. Whereas vintage shopping where I'm going to just a ton of different shops that aren't my style, I kind of feel like is a waste of time because I'm not getting a good deal, so I'd rather thrift. And what I mean by thrifting is like the real like Goodwill, Value Village. My advice to you, if you want to get a good deal and if you want to really thrift, you have to go to charity shops. I have a couple friends that live in England and they essentially said, you know, we don't have anything like those massive big thrift stores. We have charity shops. Charity shops essentially are shops that their proceeds go to charity. So when you buy something, the money goes to charity, which I think is so much smarter than over here in Canada and America where these massive companies are just profiting off of us. We're giving them our stuff for free and they're selling and making money. So I did love that idea of you go to this shop and the money's donated to charity. Obviously it's probably a percentage because they have to pay, you know, their workers and stuff like that, but I also saw that a lot of their workers were volunteers. Because I spent all of my time in London going to vintage shops, I didn't end up having a lot of time to charity shop there. So when I went charity shopping, I went to a place called Eastbourne. It's outside of London. It's not as like hip-hoppin' as London is. I went down the street while I was in Eastbourne and it was literally just covered in charity shops. I think there was about 7, 8 on the same little like sack. Like, every time I came out of a store there was just another one beside it, so that's really nice too. I'm not sure if that's a common thing, there's always that many charity shops close together, but there was where I was. Charity shops are much better because they're more like our Value Village and things like that where you can get things that are well priced. It's more of a hunt as well, and I found that a lot of them are really clean and really nice and well kept, and obviously there's some that are for wildlife, some are for cancer, some are for just so many different things, and they obviously all say on the outside what they are for. So I enjoyed that. That was a really good day of thrifting. I went to so many different ones, as I said, and as I'm showing you here. And I'm sure you guys are all wondering what that one piece that I got was, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen this. I got this. It is such a beautiful piece, and it's probably just gonna sit on my dresser and probably hold like my keys and my wallet in it. I got this for £2, so that is something that I can fully get behind. Alright you guys, that is it. Thank you for watching. I hope that this was fun. I hope that you enjoyed watching. I am changing up the background yet again. I want to start obviously filming less in my office. We're going to just leave the office for more like makeup, and there's another reason why I'm trying to film in here more, because I'm going to be doing something extra special in my office, which you guys will hear about really soon, and trust me, you will be happy. Bye guys!